Well, we talk a lot in our content about the roles senior pastors can't delegate. Ministry leaders know that with only so many hours in the day and with Sunday always around the corner, it's hard to simply get it all done. And that's why delegation is one of the most effective tools in a church leader's arsenal. In this short video, we're joined today by Tricia Sciortino. She's the CEO of Belay, which is a church staffing organization with fractional or part-time scalable US-based accounting and virtual assistant services. She's here to discuss how you can delegate the things you shouldn't have to own so that you can focus on the work that God has called you to. But before we get into the video, please take a minute to hit the subscribe button below. Our goal is to help pastors grow healthy churches by guiding them through experiences to align vision, strategy, team, and action. We're here to help you get your church unstuck. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a video. Well, thank you so much, Tricia, for joining us today. I'm anxious to dive right into today's topic. Can you please just share, what do you see as a CEO of Belay and where your team works? What do you see as the key reasons pastors hesitate to delegate things, even things that they should no longer own?
I know, right? First of all, thanks for having me. Delegation's a tricky one. There's a couple things that hold people back from it. One of them is this feeling that we need to do it all. This sentiment that it's my responsibility and therefore it cannot be shared and I should do all the things. It's my burden to bear, and we can unpack that. But there's this sentiment, we see it in church and non-church all alike, that people feel like I must do all the work. Just really not true. Secondarily, there's kind of this sense of control or losing control. If you delegate something and give it to somebody else, will it not be as good? Will it not be the way I like it? By the way, maybe I like it. And that kind of leads into trust being a foundational thing, is that there is this trust gap that we see. Is there someone you can trust? Can you trust yourself to delegate appropriately? And then lastly, the biggest hurdle is, who am I delegating to? Is there somebody available? Is there someone who can even support this work? Is there a volunteer or team member? Is everybody at capacity? So I feel I must hold the work because I don't want to put the burden on anybody else.
That is a key one, Tricia. I talk to pastors all the time and they almost feel guilty because they feel like they're burdening their team. So I think you hit the nail on the head. What are the downsides, though, or risks for pastors who don't delegate?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, burnout and overwhelm, right? Are you taking care of yourself? Is the right answer to keep all the things and hold it all and not burden your team? However, in turn, you're burdening yourself. And then how long is that sustainable before you hit a wall and you hit burnout? So, what's truly right for the church and what God wants you to do is share, the discipleship of what your role is with those around you, and for you to live a well balanced life. And that sometimes means not overdoing it, not overworking it, spending equal amount of time with family and friends and outside of what your day-to-day looks like. So we want to avoid burnout and we want to avoid hurting ourselves in the long run. We have to take care of us so that we can take care of others.
Good words. I think maybe you could help here, maybe the low-hanging fruit. What are some of the top few tasks that pastors kind of hold on to, but they really could easily delegate this one? Any of that low-hanging fruit there?
Yeah, there's tons of low-hanging fruit, right? Depends on it depends on what you're into. But first and foremost, we see the typical email support. Even if it's answering parishioners that are emailing you, if it's answering people inside your church staff, email support, calendaring, scheduling meetings for you, scheduling meetups, meet and greets, lunches. I mean, think of all the time you spend just going back and forth trying to pick a time to meet somebody and then send a calendar invite. I mean, it all adds up. Sermon prep and content, could an outline be created for you? Now, maybe, right, they're not writing it verbatim, but a great outline. I have my assistant do this for me. She helps me write great outlines that then I can expand content on. So sermon prep and content, volunteer appreciation. Yeah. Volunteer appreciation. Are there note cards that you like to send out weekly that somebody can help you with? So those things. And then you can get into more of the operational part of things. You know, do any of your teams need support? So does your new visitors team need support with what they're doing and they're welcoming new parishioners? Are there assimilation members that could use support as well? Database management. Where are you keeping all the names and context? Is it clean? Is it up to date? Is it current? Doing research on people you're bringing on site to help, speak to your congregation. So there's so many things. And then you can even go down the whole marketing and social media part of things, like, are you on social? Are you reaching your community? Are the things you could be doing in social media to reach more in your community? Are there newsletters that you send out? So there's a lot of that external focus as well. And then, of course, there's just the things that take care of you. Scheduling date nights, sending birthday gifts or birthday gift reminders, helping order birthday gifts, keeping your personal life in check. So that's a lot of things I just mentioned right there. For sure, you can find 3 to 5 of those you could start with today.
Well, I think I need to sign up actually after you went through all those things.
I mean, I couldn't live a day. I couldn't live a day without my virtual assistant, truly. She takes vacation and I'm like, oh my God, she really does run my life.
That's right. Well, and I told you this before we started recording. The pastors that I've worked with that have outsourced to Belay are thrilled. They are so happy with the support they're getting. So maybe one last question here. What are some creative ways you've seen pastors begin to delegate so they can focus on only what they should own?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, looking at the circle around you and finding somebody who you can trust and start working with. That might be a volunteer for you that can come alongside you. It might be somebody on staff that is looking for different or new responsibilities. We find a lot of people love taking on new responsibilities, especially if they feel like they're serving you in the way you need. And then, of course, there's looking outside for a right solution like Belay or any staffing agency, or finding somebody to come alongside you and really just start with small fractional things, and you can see the relief. And then delegation really is, it's kind of a trained muscle. It's kind of, the more you start doing it, you're like, okay, I'm getting into a groove. I can delegate more. And the next thing you know, you're a master delegator. You're no longer overwhelmed. Things are getting accomplished. Balls are not being dropped. And it's an amazing place to be.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us and sharing your wisdom. And I want to thank our viewers today too. Thanks for tuning into today's video. And to learn more about how Belay can help you delegate the things you shouldn't own, visit belaysolutions.com. And of course, if you found this video helpful and want to see more like this in the future, make sure to hit the subscribe button below.